Yup, PlayStation is going to shut some digital game stores this summer. Drink boxes try to save the world. And the Force is strong with Obi Wan. All that and the latest and everything cool today in the Rundown. Hey, welcome to the Rundown, everybody. This is another episode of the Rundown Live. Sometimes I'm going to do these because I'm busy working on a bunch of other things during the day, some stuff that I will reveal soon, but it's also incredibly fun to share the news and to have discussions with you guys about some of the topics that are going on in the worlds of video games and entertainment and technology. I hope everybody's doing great. I see a whole bunch of you are in the chat right now, which is awesome. Mucky Mucks was the very first one in the chat, so this episode of the Rundown is dedicated to Mucky Mucks. And, of course, our sponsor is somebody that we have to give a big shout-out to. That is the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation. They've got tournaments going on every weekend, and you don't want to miss out on the action. You can find out all about them and join up at tgs.gg. And please do follow them on Twitter and give them a shout out. And if you're a fan of what we do here at EPN, let them know that. All right, let them know that you are very happy that they support the channel, because I sure am. I'm also happy to see everybody here. I see Mike Strickland and Robert Turner. The Wren is here. He says, evening all. I see Shirley Castle. How you doing, Shirley? Good to see you. I see Ken and Die for Death Clock, woo! And Blair Farrell is here, a whole bunch of you guys. We'll get into a little bit more of a chat when we go into our EPN Plays piece right after we're done with the Rundown, because that's the other thing that we do when we do the Rundown Live, is we stick around a little bit and we play some games. Today we're going to play some Monster Hunter Rise. But first, I think we have to get into the news. I know we have to get into the news, and we've got some troubling news from PlayStation. PlayStation customers are starting to get official notification from Sony that stores for the PSP, Vita, and the PlayStation 3 are all going to be shut down this summer in July and August. Crucially, these outlets serve as a conduit to many backwards-compatible PlayStation releases, as well as a lot of digital-only indie titles. Now, there are rumors and some patents floating around that Sony is developing some kind of emulation tech for backwards compatibility, but this move is clearly Sony pressing on into the future and scrubbing away some opportunities for players to hang on to the past. And isn't it crazy to see the PSP being demoed up there right now, which is just crazy. Sony's had some pretty amazing handhelds, and it's just kind of sad and tragic that we just have to kind of say goodnight to these machines. I think you can still download the software. In fact, Sony's actually sent out a letter. I got the email today, and it's basically saying that they're shutting down stores as rumored. And I think what happened is the Gamer released a lot of the website. The Gamer released a lot of this information and got pickup all over the place. But this is basically what they're telling people, that if you already own software, you can download them. But it is definitely a huge change. Particularly for those developers out there that, and we saw Ben Rivers tweet about this last week, that have, a little bit of business coming in still from people that are on legacy platforms and accessing this content. Now, I really hope that Sony is working on emulation technology, as some of these patents and some of the speculation kind of projects out there. I think it's a lot of wishful thinking. I think that, the video game industry is notorious for just pushing forward and hyping up what's ever new and getting people to pick up new hardware and new software and forgetting about all of its history. But I think what's happened over this last decade, something that I've definitely witnessed and had lots of conversations with other super fans of video games out there, is there has been this real move towards the classics, I think, in their simplicity, the fact that they don't have to have day one patches, you don't have to worry about microtransactions, but also this real appreciation for that sort of classic software and what it means for the future of the business. I really am a strong believer that we can chart a great course for our future as content creators by remembering the past and honoring the past, and I think it's important, especially for video game developers in the future, to have access to this content. It's clear to me that Xbox gets that. They're going all the way back to their initial Xbox One library. And in fact, I want Xbox to even go further and kind of lead by example and show the rest of the industry how cool it is that people can have their, physical media and their classic digital media and still be able to access that. And I hope that becomes kind of the standard. And of course, we always talk about the subscription kind of model that's happening, and everybody's kind of moving in the direction of a Netflix for video games. Xbox is probably furthest along with that with Game Pass. Sony's got PlayStation Now. And I think a lot of those solutions, those subscription solutions, are going to be a part of whatever happens with all of this legacy content. It is not a great sign for the business that we talk about stores closing, that you cannot purchase something for your PlayStation Vita soon, digitally, and the PlayStation 3, which ended up becoming a really big selling machine for the PlayStation brand, and there are lots of PS3 users out there to this day, and that is a system that is notoriously difficult for people to create emulation for, and even Sony's just got a kind of a small library of PlayStation 3 titles. But hopefully what this means is that the discussion spurs Sony forward to make a decision to honor its past. We know that Sony, you've done some phenomenal things pushing this business forward, and there's always this really cool progress with what you've had. But I think it's also important for you to honor where you've come from and give us some awesome access points to classic PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and especially the PSP and the PS Vita libraries. It would be really cool if there was some kind of way to play all of that stuff on the PlayStation 5. So my fingers are crossed that they are working on that. Something that I know is being worked on in the indie space is a new game coming from Toronto studios, Drinkbox. This one is called Nobody Wants to Save the World, and the game looks like it's, infused with that same kind of patented Drinkbox sense of humor that was a part of Guacamelee and Severed. These are incredibly talented developers that really understand, all aspects of the video game industry. They took influence from the jobs in Final Fantasy Tactics for this one. It's an action role-playing game where you've got quests to complete, as the little the text pop up on the video states. But you also can embody a whole bunch of different characters. So you can become a mouse and a ranger, and you're unlocking all of these different abilities with these different outfits and forms, these different creations. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of on-the-fly kind of puzzle solving, but told from different perspectives and different vantage points, and a lot of crazy carnage and action. I love this overhead perspective. It kind of reminds me of Gauntlet or Smash TV or something like that. Nobody Saves the World, and it's coming to the Xbox platforms, and also, importantly, it's going to be a Game Pass title day and date. So when the game comes out, which isn't too far away, it's going to be available on Game Pass, I think, on Xbox and on PC. So that's a really cool pickup. Congratulations to Drinkbox. I'm a big fan of you guys, and I like your games, and that game looks like it's going to be a blast. Nobody Wants to Save the World. Man, that's a kind of a bleak title. You know who does want to save the world, or at least the Jedi? It's Obi Wan Kenobi. And we got some news today about Obi Wan Kenobi, the new Disney Plus limited series that's coming up. I think they're calling it like a special event series or something. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be season after season after season. I think we've got some movie stars in this one. Obviously, Ewan McGregor is coming back in the role of Obi Wan Kenobi, something that we've been talking about ever since this movie came out. This is trailer footage from Rise of the Revenge of the Sith, and the show is going to take place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. And not only is Ewan McGregor going to be in there, but Hayden Christensen is going to come back as Darth Vader, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other cool actors and characters in the show as well. We've got Kumail Nanjiani from Eternals is going to be in the show, and we've also got Indira Varma from Game of Thrones, Rupert Friend from Homeland. He was great in that show, actually. I like that actor. But I think what's really interesting for me is that we are actually dipping back into sort of the lore that led up into Episode 4, because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, spoiler alert, there's a young Luke Skywalker that's handed off to Uncle Owen and Aunt... Oh, I forgot her name. I forget the character's name. I used to know this. I don't remember her name. You guys can tell me in the chat. But Joel Edgerton is coming back, and he can only be playing an older Uncle Owen. And, conceivably, there's going to be some really interesting stuff in there, because all we saw him do in Star Wars lore was get mad at Luke for wanting to go off and fly and join the rebellion. And so now we get to see him kind of, work with moisture evaporators and try to toil in the soil of Tatooine. I'm creating poetry live right here, Star Wars poetry. But I'm fired up for this show. I love Ewan McGregor. I think he's phenomenal. I think he did a wonderful job as the character. He's got the higher ground now. I can't wait to see what he does in this role again. He's getting closer in age to Alec Guinness's age. I know it's crazy to think that when he started his work on the original Star Wars Episode 4. So I think we're going to see some really wonderful things, and especially if it's at the caliber of The Mandalorian. I think this show is going to be great. Deborah Chow, I think, is the showrunner, and she did some excellent episodes of The Mandalorian. And I saw that one of the directors that's going to be a part of this is Benny Safdie from Uncut Gems, which is crazy. If you've never seen that movie, you should absolutely see that movie. But, strap yourself in with a seatbelt, because you're in for some really harrowing moments. That's a crazy, crazy film. But yeah, looking forward to Obi-Wan in a big way. But I've also got another show that's coming up pretty soon with some interesting casting in it. And this is also from Disney. It's going to be on Hulu in the States. I don't think we've got a Canadian broadcaster attached to this yet, so presumably this might be on Disney Plus. But M.O.D.O.K is being overseen by Patton Oswalt, who actually plays M.O.D.O.K. It's got a robot chicken kind of vibe to it, and they've just announced that one of the cast members today was revealed today is going to be John Hamm. Playing the part of Iron Man, which is pretty damn cool. So M.O.D.O.K, we don't have much time to wait for it. It comes out in May 21st, and hopefully we get it here in Canada as well. I haven't heard where it's going to air, but I definitely want to watch that. It's got a really crazy sense of humor. Clearly, you're a giant floating head, and they've done it like a puppet kind of show, which is crazy, but very interesting and a very clever way with some really phenomenal actors. Can't wait for M.O.D.O.K. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown. I'll be back again tomorrow with a fresh episode for you. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for liking and commenting. Let me know what you think about the news today, especially the PlayStation announcements that they are, in fact, closing the PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita stores this summer. Crazy, right? All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until then, play forever.